An actual test, but it's a proof of concept. We've got one all air fire extinguisher. Holy shit. Well, everyone, welcome back to the garage. I am Handy Andy, and today we are going to explore the art of putting out a fire. This is one of my homemade reusable fire extinguishers. You could fill these with pretty much damn near anything. You could refill them with the powder that they actually come in, if yours has self-discharge like this. But I prefer actually a soapy water solution that foams up and is able to snuff out fires relatively quickly. So with that, let's get into it, and let me show you how to make this. So with a build like this, you're going to need a few supplies. Let's move to our work surface. Perfect. Now obviously there's going to be a few things you're going to need. You're going to need one car valve stem. This is a 4/60 of an inch, and she's going to do well for us. Nice fat base, and this will allow you to put air and refill the cylinder with pressure. This is a valve stem puller. These little notches allow you to get up on the rim of a vehicle's wheel, and this actually screws on to your valve stem and then helps you pull it through. We're going to need some weird black goo. It's called RBT. This is actually used, it's like a rubberized silicone sealant. It takes a while to chooch, about 24 hours. However, this will give you the best seal, the best chooch for your chotch, as Uncle Bumblefuck would say. And obviously, you are going to need one expended fire extinguisher. And you're obviously going to need a way to fill it. This is my Superstart power pack. It actually has a little LED light, a way to jump start your vehicle, as well as a pump to be able to fill up your car tire. Now this one is capable of 150 psi. That is way too much. We'll need about 110, 120 just to fill this cylinder. And to make your new hole into your old fire extinguisher, you're going to need a drill bit just about the size or slightly above what you're using for the outer diameter of your valve stem. This one's 4/60 inch. This is a 1/2 inch drill bit, and this will work just fine. So first off, rule number one with making sure you're filming YouTube, make sure the camera's recording. So we have one of these kiddie fire extinguishers. If you're like me, you live in California. Big problem with California is naturally it's a grassland. Nothing big and tall grows here. All it is just a whole bunch of grass. However, unnaturally, we have added fuel to the fire, literally and figuratively. We've planted numerous amount of trees and all other sorts of stuff due to laws and stuff like that regarding building parking lots and stuff like that. It has to have some sort of tree. That's why when you come to California, you never not see a tree in a parking lot. However, because of this fact, and because of the fact that people throw their cigarette butts out the window of their moving vehicle, we get a lot of highway fires. So I always carry a few fire extinguishers on hand. If I catch a fire, which I've done a few times, if I catch a fire in its infancy, I could snuff it out. And then I don't have to spend the $30 it takes to buy one of these, which is a one-time use technically. You can have these refilled at any fire station. Most of them would be gracious. However, I'm going to show you how to make one at home. So for this one, these ones, this style, it's very easy to crack it open. All you got to do, grab it by the base, put your thumb on the nozzle, and then you twist lefty loosey righty tighty. They're never on there too tight, which leads me to suspect that this is the reason why they leak so profusely over time. So this is not only a great way for you to save money, but that fire extinguisher hooked up to your garage door near the kitchen, that's out of pressure, you could actually service this and then bring it back to serviceable pressure. So now that we've removed the valve module, we need to empty out the rest of the powder in here. This powder is very fine. It's like moon dust. If you pour it in a trash bag, you'll definitely get a little dust. Have no fear. You can actually pour this on your lawn, and it actually acts as a fertilizer. So you find a place in your lawn, make a nice, sprinkle it around, and then give it a good water, and you're good to go. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to find a spot on the bottom where we could add a valve stem. I don't like putting things in the middle. That just gives the most amount of metal to bend under pressure. Unfortunately for me, I don't like putting metals through sort of pressure. You got a drill bit set. You got the 1/2 inch. You've also got the little ones. So what we're going to do is actually poke through with the little one and then use the big one afterwards. That way your drill isn't walking around the workpiece, and it's a little bit safer. Alrighty. Let's get everything out of the way, get a good grip. So we're not going to go directly in the middle. We're just going to go just a little bit off to the side. This is going to give us a little bit more real estate to work with, and it's not directly in the middle. Now, pro tip, mind you, if you find it hard to penetrate with a small bit, all you got to do is take a small punch, or say a screwdriver with a smaller head than the drill bit you're using, and then use a hammer to knock a hole in it. You get your screwdriver. Now you have your small metal swing press. Give her a few tappy tap taps. And what this is going to do, it's going to push in that little bit of metal inside the middle. If you can see, it's more pronounced on the bigger drill bit. If you can see that there's a part on this bit that's actually flat. And if you're just spinning around on that, you're just going to be walking all over the piece as it spins. Pro tip, mind you. We're through. Alrighty. Now that we got our little hole drilled, we are actually going to check up our big bit, our 1/2 inch drill bit. And now we are going to drill a hole through the base. Well, son of a bitch, if I wasn't recording. However, all you do is gently rest your 1/2 inch drill bit in the hole you just made, and then slowly, don't put too much pressure on it, slowly drill your way through to the inside of the fire extinguisher. Now that we've drilled our 1/2 inch hole for our tire valve stem, we're going to prep this in order to pull it through the bottom. Let me show you how. What we're going to do first is remove the cap on the valve stem. It's going to give us something to grab onto with our valve stem puller. Now what we're going to do, open our silicone. We're going to take a nice bead. We're going to drag it along the groove given by our tire valve stem. What this is going to do is going to give us a nice bit of RBT to pull through to make that perfect seal. Have your paper towel handy because this stuff is gross. We're ready to put this in the fire extinguisher, fish it through, screw it in, pull it out. Now if you want a little bit more chooch for your chotch, all you do is squeeze off a little some odd in your finger, and we're going to wipe her on the inside of our hole. That way, there's no way this will leak. Leaky is bad. So now we've got everything all figured out. We're going to drop this in here, just nice and polite. You hear it? Now we're going to push the nozzle through the hole at the bottom. It's going to take a little fishing. It helps out if you have a really long stick or a probe. That way you can coerce it into place. Now after a little coercing, you're going to see she pokes out just enough for us to screw this on. This is our valve stem puller. A little help from the handicap department. Okay, now that we're threaded onto the valve stem, right, you're going to want to set one of these little edges on there. You could do this without it. You could do it with a pair of pliers. However, I just find this much easier. And you're going to pull this thing straight out, and it will seat into place. There we go. So how you know you're in place, right? You're gonna see the bulbous end of the thing start poking out, and that means you're sitting right on the groove. You are now chill to unthread it from the valve stem puller, clean her up, make her look presentable. Shazam. So now all we do, we're going to take a little bit of our black silicone. We're going to smear her on the bottom edge. Again, leaky leaks are bad. Could you imagine having to use this in a time where it really matters, just to find out that she sprung a leak? So get yourself a big gob. The bigger the gob, the better the job. This is not one of those little dab will do you and a big gob will screw you kind of type jobs. You're going to smooth it out to where she makes a perfect seal. And that's how you know you're done. She's going to smell god awful. It smells like it's not sodium acetate. It's this same stuff silicone cures with. If you ever have recaulked your bathroom, it's the same smell. We're going to let this chooch for 24 hours. Alrighty, through the magic of camera work and having examples prepped. So what we're going to do after she's chooched for 24 hours, you're going to fill her with like a Dawn dish soap water mix. Or if you have the actual powder that these things come with, you could actually refill it back with that. And after you fill her with your Dawn dish soap and water mix, you're only going to fill her halfway. Reason being is you still want air in here to act as a spring. Once you get her up to pressure, about 110, 120 psi, that is going to be the spring that pushes all the stuff out the nozzle here. If you leave just a little bit, that's not going to be enough. You'll get through your air charge rather quickly, and there's still going to be contents left inside the body of the canister. And while that's not, efficient, it's not something dangerous or anything bad. It just means you're going to vastly affect your ability to fight a fire. And so from here, what we're going to do, once she's all screwed on, we're going to actually take our valve stem and use it what it's used for. We're going to fill her up full of air. And then we're going to watch our pressure gauge move to the green zone. And so all you're going to do with your common air pump, we are actually going to attach ourselves with our basic air pump nozzle to the valve stem of our reusable homemade fire extinguisher. Right. And we're going to turn her on till we get to just above 100 psi. Shazam. Alrighty, remove that. Now we are in the green zone. We're at 100 some odd psi, and you are ready to go as a homemade firefighter. And shazam, 24 fucking hours later, we have got our freshly chooched RVT silicone sealant. We are actually going to do a little test run, just air. And then we're going to check for any leaks because, a freaky leaky is pretty bad in this situation. You don't want to reach for this damn thing and then it's empty, no air. Almost there. Almost. So, I'm pretty sure the wife won't let me fucking just set random ass fires to the house and try to put them out like, a dream firefighter. However, The shop is off limits. So let's start fires here. I've got wood. I've got a whole bunch of shit that I could set ablaze. How about these little ring caps we used to use as kids for those little Western guns? And then for the people who love fire, my firebug type, a little bit of blowtorch action. Oh no, there's a fire in my house. Whatever shall I do? Hardly an actual test, but it's a proof of concept. We've got one all-air fire extinguisher. Holy shit. Well, there's no more dust on my shit anymore. Aw, now my vodka has shit in it. And ladies and gents, just like that, you have yourself one reusable, refillable fire extinguisher. No longer are the days where you have to go and buy a $30 damn miniature fire extinguisher every time you have to use it. In California, that's a lot. I'm Handy Andy. See you next time. Oh, and before I go, let me know in the comments if you would like to see me set some stuff on fire and then use our refillable, reusable fire extinguisher to put them out. Again, thank you to all my supporters for Cars for Humanity. Thank you to Deanna, Kaylin, and Jackie Botello. Y'all have really helped us get going with the Cars for Humanity stuff, and expect more videos in the future. Again, I'm Handy Andy. You have a good night.